If we could get everybody to come in and have a seat. We're about to start what I consider the most important part of the day, and that is acknowledging tip of the spear people within California government that have truly made a difference. We had a great number of submissions for this year's awards, and we're about ready to acknowledge the winners of those. And so as soon as I can get the majority of you in seats, at this point in time, what I'd like to do is invite to the podium the father of the Project Delivery Forum, the person who 3 years ago said, "Russ, what do you think about?" And we've been roped into this ever since. We love this. We love the commitment. We love the fact that all of you guys stuck around and that the advisory board worked as hard as they did for the content. We love the sponsors that made this not only financially feasible to do, but provided good content. How many of you just got out of education sessions? Okay. How many of you felt like the education sessions were worthwhile? Boy, all of the vendors are now smiling. So thank you all very much. Without further ado, the state CIO, Carlos Ramos, and his closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Don't call me dad, okay? Or pops or old man, any of that sort of stuff. Well, so good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see everybody here. As Russ pointed out, to me, this is the best part of these sorts of events, is when we get to recognize significant accomplishment. But before I get to that part, I do want to recognize a really big significant accomplishment, and that is today. The event, the forum today was just spectacular, and I got a lot of good feedback. I had the opportunity to go and sit in several sessions and listen for a while, and they were just awesome. How many of you agree with that? The ones that I went to, you got a chance to see project sponsorship Darth Vader style. Some of you got to be challenged with putting together our homes of the future over here. They're edible, biodegradable, and you can live in them for what, a day or two? So that was pretty cool. I just thought the content was really good. I have to tell you, this morning, both Russ and Tamara, talked about how I kind of turned the keys over to them on this thing. And I have to tell you, it reminded me a little bit of with my younger son. So actually my older son. I have 3 kids. Way back in the day, after years and years of saving, I finally got enough money together to save up to buy a used BMW. And I'd never had a BMW before. So to me, this was like the best car I'd ever had. And that was really cool. I really liked driving it. I babied it and this and that. And then my oldest son got into high school and he wanted to go to the homecoming dance, right? And so he asked me, "Hey, Dad, can I borrow the Beamer?" And I was like, doing one of these things like, okay, go ahead, take it. I kind of felt a little bit like that when I asked John and Tamara, "Hey, would you guys mind sponsoring and hosting this year?" I was like, on the one hand, I was like, yeah, it's really important. We got everything about succession planning. But I felt a little bit like, oh man, I'm giving the keys to the Beamer to these guys. I hope they don't wreck it. And I have to tell you, I am so happy with the results. They not only, it would have been like my son not only taking my car and not wrecking it, but filling it up with gas and then detailing it and bringing it back and saying, "By the way, Dad, I got it tuned up." Because they did a spectacular job. So you guys, thank you very much. This was awesome. So, one last story, and then we'll get into the awards here. But I got to hear a speaker recently. He's an author of a book called Future Crimes. And if you ever really want to be scared, Halloween or something, buy that book and read it. What it is he talks about all the things that we're doing in this connected world nowadays, and then all the things the bad guys are doing, and how much further ahead of us they are. And so, he gave the presentation to a group of CIOs from the banking industry, from healthcare, from the education institutions, a number of probably the top companies that you could think of in the way of technology, eBay, Netflix, Google, Uber, all these sorts of companies, and they were all in there, and they were all scared. By the time he finished speaking, he had scared all of us, including myself. So you get to the Q&A part, and we started to ask, okay, so what's the answer? What can we do? How do we protect ourselves? And so he mentioned, you have to really hit things. If you want to have an impact from a cybersecurity perspective, you have to hit it from all angles. But ultimately, there's just not enough money to do all the things that we really want to do, so you really have to prioritize. And so the question came back to him, okay, well, knowing that we all have limited budgets and we have all these dauntless challenges, what would you prioritize on? What would you spend? If you could only spend on one thing, what would you spend? And the answer, anybody want to guess what the answer was? No, ISO's in here, right? So the number one answer was spend it on education. Spend it on training your workforce so that they know what to do. I think the exact same thing could be said in the way of project management, right? If we want successful projects, if we want successful delivery and successful outcomes, we've done a bunch of different things, but the number one thing that we can do is invest in education. So that's what you guys did today. Whether you're a sponsor, whether you're a speaker, a presenter, one of the organizing the committee that helped put this together, or an attendee, you invested in education. Let me ask you this, just by a show of hands, or maybe even a round of applause. Was it a wise investment today? I know that the content that I saw, it was just awesome. And it was all very practical, pragmatic, real good, strong takeaways that we can all use and employ. And I think that will pay big dividends for us. So again, I just want to congratulate you for taking the time to be here today. I want to thank all the sponsors, Russ and his team in particular, for putting this event together, and the committee that helped foster the content and present the speakers and the workshops. I just thought it was fantastic. So once again, thank you all. Okay, so now let's get on to the awards and recognize some folks that have really done some spectacular jobs with their boots on the ground. So I'm going to ask Tamara and John to come and join me on the stage. Take off your badges, because I'm sure we're going to get some pictures. And if you could help me present the awards. So our first award is our Demonstrated Leadership Award. And this award is going to go to Todd Giroux, who's the executive sponsor of the Fiscal project. So let me tell you about Todd here. So Todd has been a key part of the Fiscal project since 2011. He's been serving in the dual role of project sponsor and steering committee chair. All of you know, Fiscal is probably the largest transformation project that the state of California has taken on, and it will change the way virtually every department does things such as accounting, budgeting, cash management, and procurement. Fiscal is big, it's complex, and it's a very visible project. Todd has worked with the leaders from the project team, the leaders from the vendor team, and with the steering committee members, as well as effectively working with the various stakeholders and departments to effectively navigate the challenging complexities of Fiscal. Todd has been a proactive and engaged advocate for Fiscal and has provided leadership and facilitated collaboration on some of the toughest project decisions that the project has encountered. Todd has championed the reengineering of budget processes and facilitated the implementation and adoption of the new budgeting system. Todd has worked directly with the Fiscal stakeholder departments through the implementation of Fiscal, including pre-wave, wave 1, and as of this morning, wave 2. So Fiscal has now been deployed to 54 departments, and as wave 2 went live this morning, it's now open to the public. So I know that Department of General Services has successfully processed transactions on there, and it's open to the vendors through the vendor portal, the procurement portal. So while Fiscal is still a project that is in progress, Todd's contributions and leadership have already made Fiscal a success. So for that, we recognize Todd with a Demonstrated Leadership Award. So please congratulate.
Well, thank you. Yesterday I was told I wouldn't have to speak.
He's the boss.
Oh,
I didn't say it.
that was per tomorrow. So I appreciate the award. I actually emailed one of my partners, Jim Butler, yesterday to let him know I was getting the award because this isn't one. I mean, Fiscal is a huge steering committee. It's partners of Controller, DGS, Finance, and the State Treasurer. Carlos is on the steering committee as a non-voting member. It's a huge project. This really speaks more to, boy, about 10 or 12 years of work, not just what I've done on the project. I've been doing this since 2011. Didn't choose it. It was just by taking the job I'm in now. But I do appreciate the recognition. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. I got to spend a lot of time with Tamara. And now my new team over here at the table. Anyway, thank you very much.
He didn't choose it, but he did choose a short straw. Okay, our next couple of awards are for Outstanding Project Team. And the first Outstanding Project Team award goes to the PASSAR Project Team. Oh, there she is. There's the director. So PASSAR stands for the Pre-Admission Screening and Resident Review. It's a federal requirement that requires that individuals that are going into nursing facilities be evaluated for mental illness and/or intellectual ability. They're evaluated so that they may be offered the most appropriate care options and receive the services that they need. Now, this process is federally mandated, and it's mandated to be completed between 7 and 9 working days. Up until recently, the PASSAR processes had been entirely paper-based since way back in 1987, the year after the law passed, which meant that the Department of Health Care Services processed approximately 20,000 handwritten Level 1 screenings. They coordinated approximately 8,000 referrals of those to a contractor who did about 7,000 evaluations a year. All of this resulted in DHCS writing and processing 6,000 five-page determination letters. That's 30,000 pages. And issuing 500 reconsideration letters. The paper-based and manual processes caused DHCS to routinely be out of compliance by up to 45 days. To address the timeliness issue, DHCS implemented an automated solution. The new automated PASSAR system went into production on January 1st of this year, and within 4 months of being in production, reduced processing timeframes from 45 days down to the federally mandated 7 to 9 days. The new PASSAR system has successfully met all project objectives, but more importantly, the new system is ensuring that nursing facility residents receive the services and care options that they're entitled to and that they need on a timely basis. So congratulations to the PASSAR team. So we did offer them, in fairness, the opportunity to say something. They said, nah, next time. They said next year when they win their next award. Okay, so our final team award here, again, Outstanding Project Team Award, goes to the DRP Training Device Team. So DRP, come on up. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation has been recognized across the country for providing inmates increased access to educational materials through the use of mobile, cloud-based e-readers. The agency is the first in the nation to initiate this type of innovative and cost-effective solution for inmate college education. The use of e-readers has kept many inmates focused on academic achievement and has led many into college enrollment. The project required the commitment and support of a number of different divisions across the department. These included the Division of Rehabilitative Programs, the Division of Enterprise Information Services, the Division of Adult Institutions, the Division of Facility Planning, Construction, and Management, the Legal Affairs Division, the Office of Labor Relations, and the Cooperation of Vendor Partners. This multidisciplinary groups staffed a number of different work groups that consisted of custody officers, staff from the institutions, educational staff, facilities staff, and IT staff to ensure that CDCR's collective business needs were met. The work groups assessed potential solutions for hardware, software, security, cloud, and mobile technologies. They developed and modified operational policies and procedures. They established detailed workload analysis to understand the impact on staff, and they conducted statewide training and delivered pre- and post-implementation support. Interestingly, along the way, the project team had to overcome some rather unexpected obstacles, including a port workers' strike, which delayed shipment of the devices, and some challenges with the United States Customs Services that also significantly impacted the schedule. But in the end, they delivered. And as a result of their work, CDCR has become a nationally recognized leader. CDCR will realize significant cost avoidances in the purchase and maintenance and storage of ebooks compared to the way they used to do it. And CDCR, on top of all of that, has received exceptional positive inmate feedback. So congratulations, team. All right, everybody say cheese. Do you guys have a designated spokesperson? Anybody want to say anything?
Sarisha, come say a few words.
All right. Well, Sarisha, I think your team has asked for you to come and say a few words.
Sarisha, come say a few words. No, it's you. Come on. Good, thank you. Come on. Come on, it's all you. Go,
Would you
go.
like to say a word?
All right, you do it.
Thank you. It takes a village to raise a child, and honestly, yesterday when I was trying to put a list of names to be provided for name badges today, I ended up with about 58 people that actually worked on this project, and not to mention 200 institution staff that helped us through the deployment and support of this project. So I wholeheartedly thank each and every one of you for all your support, ongoing support, and thank you so much for this award. Appreciate it.
Okay, so Tamara and John, before we dismiss you, we have one more duty for you, so go back over there. Actually, I just want to make sure I get to the bar before they do.
I thought you were going to ask, did we drive it like it was stolen while we were
Okay, so there's a couple of things that I wanted to say before we close out here. One is, as I mentioned, this is probably the best part of the event for me because you get to recognize significant achievement and accomplishment. And as Russ mentioned earlier, we recognized three award recipients up here today, but we had a lot of nominations, and the good part is I think next year we're going to have even more. We're getting good at doing this at the state. Even though the outside world doesn't know it, we're getting better and better. So I think next year we're going to have probably just as many nominations and maybe some more award winners. So before we let you guys go, we do have a small little presentation for you if you want to come on up, Russ. Okay. So in the vein of recognizing accomplishment, and especially superior accomplishment, we have a couple of plaques to recognize our conference hosts here. So I'll read them, and then I will present it to them, and then we'll let you all go and eat and drink. So public sector partners, along with all of the IT community that you see here and the ones that attended earlier today, gratefully acknowledges John Boulay, Director of the California Office of Systems Integration, and Tamara Armstrong, Executive Director of the California PMO, for your commitment, dedication, and leadership in the development and production of the 2015 Project Delivery Summit. Thank you very much for your good work, and I think we're all the beneficiaries of it. So congratulations, and if we could just show them our... Okay. Well, with that, thank you once again to Russ Hicks, Sherilyn, Ann, and the whole team from Public Sector Partners. Thank you again, John and Tamara, and to all of you. And I believe
The bar is open.
the bar is open.